You know, video games are a pretty expensive hobby, and if you are into vinyl, you know that can be a pretty expensive hobby. So what happens when you combine video games and vinyl? You get this crazy world that I've kind of been wanting to talk about for a little while. Granted, there's a lot of stuff I'm going to have to kind of like omit, because a lot of these pieces and parts of this world of video game vinyl is a little secretive, depending on where you're at and who you're talking to. But you know, nothing beats really good video game soundtrack. And then also the world of like video game remixes is really awesome as well. So as someone who collects vinyl, someone who obviously collects video games, and someone who really collects video game vinyl, I kind of wanted to go through the tiers of where you get video game vinyl if you want to start your collection, or how you want to get into it, if you're interested, because it's a really crazy place to navigate. And I'm not even gonna lie, this is not like an all-encompassing video. Like, I'm still learning the ins and outs of this kind of hobby. So without further ado though, let's kind of go through my kind of structured list of where to procure stuff, how to procure stuff, and what kind of stuff you can procure when it comes to video game soundtracks in vinyl form. Now, I want to start off with what I'm going to call Tier 1, which is buying it directly from the actual, like, creator of, you know, the game we're talking about. And by that, I mean, like buying it directly from Capcom if it's a Capcom thing, or directly from Konami if it's a Konami thing. So without further ado, I don't have many examples of that because this doesn't happen very often, but here's a couple examples of stuff that you can get, or that I have gotten, directly from the actual company that made it. So when it comes to category 1, buying directly from, you know, the company, I don't really have too many examples of that because a lot of people go through what's going to be category 2, but we'll get there when we get there. But some of the stuff, you know, that they have, like this, was gotten directly from Capcom. Granted, later on, I think you could buy it from other places. But, like, this is the Street Fighter 3 box set. I mean, it's the collection. It has... Yeah, I haven't even opened this one yet, but it has, like, you know, all of the soundtracks for all the versions of Street Fighter 3, bought directly from Capcom. But some other cool examples I have are the Kingdom Hearts 20th Anniversary box set, which is real nice. This one I got directly from Square Enix. It was actually pretty hard to get because, like, they stopped making it and then they started making it again. But the last example I can kind of show, and I'm not going to do this for every category because I have, like, a lot of vinyl. It's just this one I have, you know, just a few items from where I bought directly from the company. But my last example I have is directly from the Konami shop, and that's the Suikoden 1 and Suikoden 2. I mean, they did these, they sold them direct. And it's pretty cool, but, you know, like I said, this is the least common kind of place where you're going to be buying video game vinyl, and that's directly from the company. So, like, directly from Konami, directly from Square. You're going to be finding stuff in the next category, which we will go over now. Now, I want to go into what I'm calling Tier 2, and Tier 2 is going to be broken up into two different parts. Tier 2 to me is like an online store that is not officially, like, you know, it's not Capcom, for instance, but they are licensed with Capcom to sell Capcom stuff. And so this is going to be officially licensed soundtracks kind of from, you know, third party or just online available vinyl distributors. So when it comes to, like, Tier 2 stuff, I want to show off some pretty neat things that I've gotten kind of over the years. First off, I'm a huge fan of Mega Man Legends. If you've watched my channel, you know that. Mega Man Legends cassette tape for Mega Man Legends 2. Mega Man Legends Soundtrack 1, Soundtrack 2. These are both super cool. And I forgot which website I got these from, but I remember when I saw them pop up, I had to immediately jump on them. But I like how the art is like this really cool kind of like claymation kind of stuff. However, like, this isn't even like the coolest stuff that I have found. Some other really neat things that are like official releases but from other companies would be like the Breath of Fire set. Now, the Breath of Fire set's really cool. I'm gonna have to make sure that I can get all these in here. So there are 3 of them, Breath of Fire 1, 2, and 3, and the pictures line up on all 3 of them. You see how the fire kind of continues. So on your shelf, these look freaking amazing. And they're good soundtracks anyway, if you like classic Capcom RPGs. And that's the thing you're going to kind of see here, is a lot of the stuff is Capcom. A lot of Capcom and Square Enix kind of go do third party for sure. But this one is probably one of my favorites. I'm a huge fan of Final Fantasy IV, and this is a Mana Wave release they did. And I'm actually going to open this one up and show you, but it's Final Fantasy IV, Hymn of the Crystals. And so one thing that I'm going to show probably a little bit as I go is there's different kinds of vinyl, right? Like, for people who don't collect vinyl, they're probably just thinking like a black record, but they do a lot of stuff. My personal favorite is called a splatter, and I will show you plenty of splatters later on. But this one was I forget what they call it. I mean, it's a tricolor, but essentially they made it, it's the spoony barred one, and they made it to where it's kind of the colors of Edward. But that's how they did the tricolor. A tricolor, I'm not gonna lie, personally is not like one of my favorites. I like kind of the clear solids or the splatters, and you'll see some of those later on. But this was a really cool one that I got, like I said, from Mana Wave. And so that kind of does it for like my kind of tier 2 part 1, because this is all official stuff, official soundtracks from different people licensed, but through a third-party store. So now I want to go into what I like to call Tier 2 Part 2. And now I kind of want to go into Tier 2 Part 2, which is the same type thing. It's going to be, an online, reputable distributor who, instead of selling an officially licensed product, is maybe selling like a remix version. You'll see some examples here, but, a really good kind of list of examples in a way is, if you've ever heard them on YouTube, is the and Chill series, Pokemon and Chill, Zelda and Chill, basically like lo-fi remixes of classic video game music. And so, like I said, I want to have this as, it's still kind of like tier 2. You're still going online, buying it through these websites or on Amazon even, but it's not kind of like officially licensed. But I do want to draw attention to it because there's some really cool stuff that if you don't know about it, you could definitely be caught slipping, missing some awesome music. So the tier 2 part 2, like I said, it's kind of like you're buying it from official sources, but it's not official soundtracks. It's usually like a remix or something like that. And I have a ton of examples of this, but I mean, you're gonna get the point after I just show off these 3. So these 2 were some of my favorite. They're really probably hard to see with the camera because they're super shiny, but this is like the video game lo-fi, Donkey Kong Country 2, Super Mario 64. Both of these are amazing. I don't remember where I originally got them, but I do believe they are like available on Amazon now. But if you're like really into just some chill lo-fi music, just something to listen to in the background while you're playing games, like maybe like an online game or whatever, these 2 are great, and stuff like this is great. But another thing I really want to show off is this Kingdom Hearts Beats by Robo Rob. Now this one actually recently got on sale a couple other records from Robo Rob, so I'm really excited to check them out. They're just not in the mail yet, but I got like the Final Fantasy VII, and I got a Mega Man one from them. But so it comes with this cool hard sleeve, and these are like really awesome remixes of Kingdom Hearts music. I mean, they have a lot of stuff in here pretty much. In fact, here's what you get, if you're wondering. But the thing I really like about this one is just how it looks. It looks so freaking cool. It's this clear, I mean, like, it looks amazing. It's real thick. It's awesome. But this is what I was getting at when I was saying, like, I really like either the clear solid colors or the splatters. I haven't got to show you a splatter yet, but you will be seeing one soon. But like, this is the kind of stuff I'm getting at with kind of the tier 2, part 2, where it's official stores. You can buy all this stuff officially from, different stores online. Manowave, Channel 3 is a good one, and a bunch of stuff like that. But it's just like not official music. It's like remixes and stuff. And I tell you what, when you're chilling at the house, this stuff is really cool. I really like to listen to really any of my video game vinyl, but I really like to listen to it while I'm building Legos. I build like big Lego sets that take hours and hours and hours. It's nice to just have some cool music on in the background. But anyway, without further ado, let's talk a little bit about the next tier 3. Now I want to go into what I call tier 3, and that is, kind of you guys. So there's many video game vinyl groups all over the place, all over the internet, Reddit, Discord, Facebook groups. And in these groups, you find people who, maybe bought duplicates or all sorts of stuff. And you never know what you're going to get, because there are some really cool records out there that maybe you missed, maybe you didn't know about, or maybe belong to what I'm going to be calling tier 4. We'll get into that in a second. But here's some cool examples of stuff that I've actually gotten from these groups, from individual sellers. And the cool thing is, there's a little bit of a kind of like a trust system here, because you're using PayPal or Venmo. Most people like to use goods and services and pay the extra 3% just to be safe. But so far, the community's great. I have actually done, I think, 4 transactions now with just people out there. So that is, and they've all been successful. They've all been great. So that is kind of where I'm going to jump onto this. Here's some of the cool stuff I've gotten from these awesome communities, these awesome video game vinyl collectors that are out there and have formed these fantastic groups. So tier 3 is cool because tier 3 is homies. I mean, like I said, there's a little bit of a leap you have to take with buying stuff from strangers on the internet, but I've gotten some stuff that I've been wanting in my collection for a while. This is Final Fantasy II. I don't know if this is official or not. Honestly, I have not done like a lot of research on it, but I do know that I had Final Fantasy 1, and it's cool because, you look at it, it's like completely white. It's a really neat one. But Final Fantasy 2, I really like the Final Fantasy 1 soundtrack. I know some people are probably gonna not like listening to 8-bit music as much as maybe 16 or something even newer than that. But depending on the soundtrack, and this one's very nostalgic to me, really, really enjoy it. But the other 2 I have here are super cool. I love Wario Land. Was my first game I ever had on the Game Boy. And when I saw that someone was selling this, I was super duper happy. Once again, I don't think this is an official one. I don't think Nintendo ever made this, so this would be a bootleg, which will come up more in tier 4. But I really like this one because the art is what's amazing, and it's this cool smoky color. It's awesome, right? Super cool. But really, one of my absolute favorite pickups I've gotten from other people, from these kind of groups of folks. I'm just gonna set this aside. Is, you've seen it, Parappa the Rapper. My wife actually loves this game, and I was like, yeah, someone was selling this. The cool thing is, this is literally like, when it's 44 tracks, it's literally like you start the game. If you were to just start the game and play through it, a complete 100% playthrough without messing up, that's what you're listening to. It's really, really cool. So, this is the kind of cool stuff when you're in these groups. You can find, stuff that you may have missed officially, or some of this kind of secret stuff. And so it's really neat. But speaking of secret stuff, we have to talk about tier 4. Now, another thing I do want to kind of lump into group 3 in a way is your local record stores, if you have one that carries video game vinyl, because in a way it's kind of like its own cool little club. I'm actually personal friends with a cool guy who owns an awesome record store called Ka-Chunk in Annapolis. If you're ever in Annapolis, Maryland, make your way there. He always has a great selection of all kinds of vinyl, but he does have video game vinyl, which is really cool because he also has some really hard to get stuff. But anyway, I want to go into tier 4 now. And now tier 4 is the one that I can't really talk about how to get in them, because I don't even know how to get in them. But, you know, if there's like these groups, right? Facebook groups, Discord groups, you know, where they all welcoming people saying, hey, you know, Mondo Records is dropping this, whatever. Then there's the secret groups. Now, the secret groups, once again, I don't even know how I got into one at one point, and then from there somehow got into a couple others. They're all really cool. They're all really hush hush. But this is where the magic happens. There is kind of like two groupings, or really multiple groupings in these secret groups, right? So they do bootlegs, mostly bootlegs, because as you know, a lot of these games are not going to get official soundtracks. They're just not. It's not going to happen. You're not going to have Nintendo coming off their high horse and making a, you know, box set for whatever. You know what I mean? They're not going to do it. They're just not going to do it. So it has now fallen onto these groups to do it, and they have done miraculous things. And so I want to go through, this is probably going to be the biggest section of the video, because I'm going to go through a bunch of stuff as far as like the kind of things I've gotten from these secret groups, as long as the embargo is up, which like now on all the stuff I'm going to show it is. But I mean, like, you know, these things are really limited run. They're pressed by, you know, these people who just, you know, are really passionate. All the art and the curation is just like done by these fantastic groups. They're amazing. They're really cool. The stuff you get is really cool. And man, it's some of the stuff is like insanely wild to me that it exists and that I even have it in my collection. So without further ado, let's jump into a little bit of this tier 4 action. So tier 4 to me is where the magic happens. Like I said, it's these secret groups, and you know, they're the real hush hush. But man, they make some cool stuff. So I have both of these Zeldas, right? This one is obviously Link's Awakening, and it's just, the quality is off the chain with these things. I mean, let's see if I can open it. I mean, someone made this, right? Like, somebody made this, and it is freaking sweet as hell. They really go well out of their way to make this stuff amazing. You know, I wanted to show these two examples just because a lot of people like Zelda. I will say that Zelda records seem to go up in price in these groups. But that said, these two aren't even like near my favorite stuff I've gotten from some of these groups. I want to go through some neat stuff right here. So, Super Mario World, right? So Super Mario World, this thing is amazing. It is the entire game soundtrack and sound effects. It's kind of embossed. It's really cool. Has a awesome insert that was made with all the track lists and everything. I mean, super awesome. And like I've been saying for a little bit in the video now, I got this one in the splatter. I love how splatters look to me. I think they're amazing. And the cool thing about this one is it's part of a set. They're actually going to be doing all of the Mario games, at least a lot of the Mario games. So I am really hyped to see how this one eventually goes. This one's already, they've done Mario World, but they're also doing Mario 3 was the second one. And I think the one after that is going to be some of the Game Boy games. But another thing that happens in these cool groups, these kind of secret-y groups, is you don't just get custom, you know, hey, one-off soundtracks. You get compilations. And you get some crazy ones. This one is one of my absolute favorites. It's called Cozy SNES. And it is just a list of just really cozy Super Nintendo games. You know, you got some Mario Paint, Earthbound, Tactics Ogre, Final Fantasy V, Bahamut Lagoon. I mean, it's just real random, but they're just all really cool, really, really awesome, actually. Songs, this is one of my favorite albums I own, period. And I really love it. And now the last thing I want to show off, I want to show a little bit of kind of like history with it. So for those who know or don't know, you know, Disney has been making records for a long time. So this is the thrilling, chilling sounds of a haunted house. It's literally like haunted house background noise. This is from like the 60s. Yeah, 1964. And so, cool thing, this is modern. I know it's Disney, not video game, but you'll see where this is going. This is modern. This just came out, and it's an updated version of that. And this is official from Disney, which is cool. Now, this came out very recently. This, like I said, is from the 60s. One of these secret groups made a special Halloween album that is Halloween video game music, and they made it to mimic this album, and that is right here. The chilling, thrilling sounds of the Mushroom Kingdom. It's so cool. I mean, look, it's the same thing, right? Here lies a most terrific collection of record sounds. It has Horrorland record. I mean, like, they really went out of their way to make it look similar, except for this is obviously the Super Mario 64 Princess Peach Castle. And it is all of these really cool, spooky, eerie, Paper Mario, Donkey Kong 64, Creepy Castle, different Wario World for the GameCube, Kirby, Pokemon XY. So this is like another one of my really favorite albums that I've gotten, and it's cool because it's an awesome compilation of here's some Halloween music, video game music, and then they made a playlist. Someone took the time to make the art look really awesome, like the vintage record. This to me is amazing. And that's the kind of cool stuff you find in some of these crazy secret groups. And the cool thing is I remember I got this in the secret group, but afterwards, people in the regular groups that anyone can join, they're like, hey, I got a couple of these, and everyone was like, I've never even heard of that, and you could buy them directly from them, and no one goes crazy. I mean, there are people, on eBay, etc., that scalp and stuff, but usually in the groups, everyone's very fair and very generous, and so you could have picked this up for basically what it would have cost if you bought it originally. But this stuff is cool, don't get me wrong. I want to show you the real cool stuff now, the real man, you're in the group and you can get access to this kind of stuff. So some of these groups go above and beyond and beyond. This is a Mario RPG box set, obviously custom art. All the soundtracks, it's a bunch. It's a whole bunch in here. This thing is super duper cool. In fact, recently though, officially, it looks like Japan is getting a Mario RPG box set, although I think it is for the remake soundtrack, and this is the original. But another cool thing I have is a Chrono Trigger box set. This thing is amazing. It is super cool. I would open these up, but it's kind of a hassle with the paper, but I will open the last one because it's already kind of done. But these are all really cool. These is cool stuff you could have gotten in the group that is now impossible to get. So I mean, this is literally, Chrono Trigger. It's a hard chipboard box. It's amazing. The fact that I have this in my collection because it does not exist anywhere else is awesome. But this is the one that's probably my favorite, the nicest one. They came out with two versions of it, a silver one and a gold one, but it is the Lunar box set. And I mean, just check this thing out. You have friggin' all the different versions. You got Lunar 2. I have two different versions of Lunar 1 in here. But I mean, this set was amazing. It came with posters and stuff in here. It's just cool. And this is the kind of stuff in these secret groups that you can kind of check out. Because I don't even know where you'd buy this now. I mean, I haven't looked it up on eBay or anything, but I wouldn't want to because I don't think that stuff like this, I hate that it would be scalped. But this is kind of, like I said, kind of like a weird, large brush stroke at this world of video game vinyl collecting and the cool stuff that you can find and the cool things and people that you meet. It's amazing. I'm glad I can get some of this cool stuff in my collection. It's super awesome. But yeah, that's kind of the video game vinyl world in a way. I'm sure I'm missing a whole lot. I'm sure there's way more stuff that I don't even know about. Because, like I said, this group is kind of crazy. It's such the weirdest hobby that I feel like I fell into. It started out with me just buying, I think, a record for, something or other off Mondo, just back to tier 2. But, next thing you know, you're in these groups and you're getting really cool stuff that you could never imagine you'd have in your collection. But what do you guys think? Do you guys collect video game vinyl? Do you guys You really listen to video game music outside of playing games. I mean, even if it's not collecting vinyl, if it's using the Nintendo Music app or just jamming on YouTube, let me know, because man, I love this stuff. I really love the stuff that's like custom artists, like the lo-fi things. It's amazing to me. But like I said, let me know what you guys think down below, and let me know if you have any awesome records or box sets that you want to talk about in the comments. Because man, I know I've missed some awesome stuff, because I'm still kind of new to this part of the hobby. But man, every day I feel like I'm getting something awesome, or getting the opportunity to get something very cool. That's gonna do it for us today, guys. Once again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for subscribing. If you haven't, please do. That would be amazing. But as always, my friends, take it easy.